Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and the elect. I'm Ariel Zabat out of the GMS Dallas camp. I'm going to entitle this lesson here, A Nation Restored. And this is pretty much, going into Psalms 14, and it's a powerful chapter, but yet short chapter as well. Kind of give like a quick dialect of Israel, and trying to find righteousness on the earth and through His chosen nation. So we're just going to get right into it. This is Psalms chapter 14 and verse 1, and it reads, folly and wickedness of men. And again, when you're going into that word men here, is speaking of everybody, the entire nation. All right. So verse 1, it reads, the fool had said in his heart, there is no power, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that do it good. You see? And, when I think about this verse here, I think about Psalms 96. And matter of fact, let's go ahead and get that. Let me get Psalms 96. Let's grab that real quick. All right, this is Psalms 96, and we'll start from verse 3. And it reads, declare His glory among the heathen, His wonders among all people. For Yahweh is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahweh made the heavens, right? So this is pretty much going into how the heathens, think, because they weren't given the law, statutes, and commandments that you read about in Psalms 147, 19 and 20, and they operate like, brute beasts, eating unclean foods. Like, that's all they know. They, worship a tree. They worship all different types of idols. They live wicked. They're like people with no understanding. Okay. So, but Psalms 96 and 5 tells us that, for all the gods of the nations are idols. So they don't have a true living power, like the nation of Israel. Okay. And that was and that's what sets them apart from all the other nations. They're holy people. They do have the way, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, this truth. Okay. So that's what sets the Israelites and the other nations apart. So the other nations, and even 2/3 of our people, would think like that. All right, that we read about in Psalms 14. So let's go back to Psalms 14 and read that again. And it reads, the fool had said in his heart, which is his mind, there is no power. They are corrupt, and they have done abominable works. There is none that do it good. You see? And then it's, through their actions on how they live their lifestyle. Again, like brute beasts. All right. Verse 2. And it reads, Yahweh looked down from heaven upon the children of men. All right. And let's address that. So before the flood, after the flood, the scriptures get into, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the lineage of the Israelites, but before the flood, you read about in the Old Testament in Genesis, you read about the sons of men who are likened unto the Israelites, the sons of Salakia. You have the sons of God who are likened unto the Israelites. You have the sons of men who are likened unto the heathen. And then you have the sons of the wicked who are likened unto Esau, Edom, the nation of Esau, the so-called white man. Okay? And this is all the entire race that was before the flood. You know, those three sets of men, which make all three the entire race on the earth, on planet Earth. All right. Verse 2 again, and it reads, "And Yahweh looked down from heaven and upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek the Most High, and that seek Him who was wise, who had wisdom." Okay. Verse 3, and it reads, "They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy." All right, which mean corrupt. "There is none that do it good, no, not one." And we can get a precept to that too. Let's get that in Amos, the 3rd chapter. We're going to start from verse 1. And it reads, "Hear this word that the Lord had spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities." Okay? So when you go back and read that again, it's talking about these other nations, you know, because Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, the Most High, Yahweh, he only had one family, which was Israel, the nation of Israel, and which you would call the sons of God. Okay? Verse 4, and it reads, "Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon Yahweh?" All right. And this is an example of a good example of that is like all of the captivities the Israelites have been in, you know, since they've been a people. You know, they've been in captivity after captivity, and all of the kings has the same mindset. You know, they want to eat up our people, as the scriptures said, you know, like bread. And none of them know our power, not in an intimate way, you know. So they're very proud, and, you know, the Most High, he'll build them up, bring them up, just so he can show his power, all right, and destroy them and bring them down, okay? So, you know, Pharaoh would be one, Herod, you know, there's just many more of kings, you know, throughout the Bible that had Israel in captivity, you know, whether it been under the Romans, the Greeks, dealing with Alexander the Great. Let's get first Maccabees so I can get the other one. Let's get first Maccabees real quick. Let's get that precept. Yeah. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. So you had Darius. That's the reason why I brought this out, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece. So you had many other kings too that had the Israelites in subjection, you know, in captivity. And right here in the United States of America, starting with the elites, you know, the Rockefellers and the banking families, you know, under the Esau, Edom today, you know, we're still in captivity. All right. Verse 5, and it reads, "There were they in great fear, for the Most High is in the generation of the righteous." Okay. And when they speak about they were in great fear for the Most High is in the generation of the righteous, is speaking of the Israelites, starting with the chosen elect, starting with the 144,000 and a great multitude, which is the 1/3, that's singing a new song, the throne of David, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability, who uplift in Yahushua his death, burial, and resurrection. That's the generation of righteous right there. Okay. Verse 6, and it reads, "You have shamed the counsel of the poor, because Yahweh is his refuge." Okay. Meaning that, these other nations, mainly Esau, oppress our people because they are terrified of the recompense, of Yahweh's anger, for the treatment of his people, putting us in captivity, especially Esau, taking it too far in hardcore captivity, so they understand that when we keeping the law, statutes, and commandments and not serving other idols, different philosophies, and worshiping other gods, that our power is going to come protect us and stand for us. So they terrified of that, So we're going to stay in this oppressed situation until Yahweh shall return. But right now, through the Holy Spirit, starting with the, with the prophets, of today, who has this truth, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, the chosen and the elect are the ones, out there preaching on the highways and byways, allowing the Spirit to quicken, Jake, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So this is what's happening right here. And Yahweh Shah is going to be our refuge, Lord willing, with those men. All right, men and women. Okay. Verse 7, and it reads, "Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion." All right. And who is that? That's Yahweh Shah. Okay. And we can, we don't have to get it, but I'll go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and get that in Matthew 1. All right. And it reads, this is Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. "And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahweh Shah, for he shall save his people from their sins." Okay. So we the one, who went off and broke the first covenant and been in captivity and under these other nations. And Yahweh Shah is going to be that one coming out of the tribe of Judah to come save his people. All right. In Babylon the Great, with the ICBM missiles and the angels, the Lord of hosts. All right. Verse 7 again. "Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion, when Yahweh bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad." And let's go ahead and grab, a little precept to that, because yes, Israel going to rejoice. And this is something that, that we're longing for, long suffering for. And it reads, we'll start from verse 9. Revelation 13:9. "If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity." So these other nations who have put us in captivity, they're going into captivity. That's the recompense that's going to come upon their own heads. "He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." So this is why Esau, Edom, and these other nations hate this truth, because they understand that this captivity and their rulerships throughout the earth, also the other nations, starting with Esau, Edom, is about to be over with, and we're going to have new rulership. And that's why Yahweh Shah is going to deliver his people. And this is what we're waiting on. And it reads, again, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." You see? And this is what we're waiting on, patiently waiting on, through long suffering, And until, he come and deliver us, we got to continue to preach this word like we're commanded to do, be brotherly toward one another, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our, Salakia, to the best of our ability. Okay. And, have faith in Yahweh Shai. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rahah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and ruled well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and elect. Shalom.